Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. Here we go. And we're off. Fox News poll. Trump DeSantis top 2024 Republican preference. More than half of Democratic primary voters want someone other than Biden as the party's 2024 presidential nominee. Well, sorry, Mayor Pete. You screwed the pooch, so I think you're going to be low on the list, but this is some interesting numbers we're going to go through. Let's check it out. 1 year out from the 2024 primaries, this is the debut Fox News national survey, which means the really big one, the first big one on the presidential nomination races. Spoiler alert, former President Donald Trump looks formidable while President Biden faces doubt. Yeah, is that slanted a little way towards Trump? Yeah, but it's actually accurate. Republican primary voters were read a list of 15 announced as potential candidates for the 2024 nomination. Trump tops the list with 43%, followed by DeSantis at 28%. That's a 15-point margin. That's quite a bit, actually. Nikki Haley and Mike Pence at 7%, and Greg Abbott and Liz Cheney at 2%. I'm surprised Greg Abbott didn't do better than Liz Cheney, but that's another story for another time. And you can see the poll there. Donald Trump, 43, and then the rest of the list. It was done in late February of this year. It's really something here. Let's check this out. All others received 1% or less at this early stage. Only 3% are unsure of their pick. Among primary voters, men, women, those under and over 45 years of age, and those without a college degree, all put Trump first and DeSantis second. The Florida governor is ahead among those with a college degree and those who think Biden was legitimately elected, and two are within a point or so of suburban voters and those higher incomes. That's a really good sign for Trump. Suburban voters. They're within a point. That's where Youngkin won in Virginia. Suburban voters, college-educated suburban voters, especially women. So that's a good thing. It looks like President Trump right now is sitting in the driver's seat. I think this is his primary to lose. But I wish he would change his tactics. And I'm going to say right up front, I'm a Trump supporter. I wish he would change his tactics. Be the Trump of 2016. I know it was new. I know you were younger. I get it. I'm getting older myself. The energy level sometimes isn't that great. But you need to find it, Mr. President. President Trump, you need to find what you had in 2016 and go with that. You don't have to be a political science major to figure out and have the opinion that in 2020 with the COVID, what was going on, if it wasn't for that, Trump would have won. I'm not saying it was cause to defeat Trump. That's not what I'm implying at all. I'm just saying it's a bad piece of luck. It's, currently the GOP primary dynamics are simple, said Darren Shaw, Republican who conducts the Fox News survey with Democrat Chris Anderson. DeSantis needs Trump to falter because most of the former president's supporters see the governor as a second-best choice. At the same time, other candidates need DeSantis to falter because his supporters have no single fallback option and would be up for grabs should he flame out. Again, I'm going to say, not because I'm a Trump supporter, I don't think DeSantis should jump in. I really and truly don't, but it looks like he might. It's leaning towards that way more and more and more. And this is Trump's to lose. Let's just tell the truth. Now, this is the second choice for the 2024 GOP nomination for president. Those that picked second place, Trump at 34, Nikki Haley at 27. This is very, very interesting. Very interesting. So in other words, most of those people are probably DeSantis choices that like DeSantis. Trump tops Haley by 66-24 in a matchup between the two. Well, yeah, that's over a 40-point swing. I'm surprised it's not higher. Now, this is the part that I think is really, really interesting. While 37% of Democrat primary voters want to keep Joe Biden as their party's nominee, that's just barely over a third. That means almost 2/3 don't want him as a nominee. A majority of 53% say they would like someone else to run. It's amazing to me. This is numbers that those of you that are older, that Jimmy Carter faced. And if you recall, you look it up if you're younger, and when you're older, you remember that Ted Kennedy challenged the sitting president, in this case Jimmy Carter, and didn't make it. And Carter won the nomination and lost to Ronald Reagan in a blowout. That support for Biden pales in comparison to what Trump received 4 years ago, and that's key. In February 2019, at the same point in the election cycle, 72% of GOP registered voters, that's a lot, wanted to keep Trump as their party's nominee. Nearly doubles Biden's current support. That is huge. And to act like the former president, huge. That's huge. Meanwhile, this is the part that's just double speak, and I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I'm not a psychologist. Now, this is the part that I just can't get. This is concerning Biden. Meanwhile, 84% of Democratic primary voters approve of the job Biden is doing as their president. And this is the part that this is the mental part of it. They like him and the job he's doing, even if they wish for an alternative in 2024. We think you're doing a good job, but 84%. These are primary voters. They're hardcore Democrats or Republicans, because very few people vote in primaries as a rule. 84% like the job he's doing, but wish there was an alternative in 2024. That's similar to doublespeak, when you hold two opposing views at the same time and believe in both equally. That's like saying, I think the world is round, and I'm dug in that position. But at the exact same time, I think the world is flat. And I believe that just as much as the world is round. Psychologists will tell you those two opposing views that believe at the same time is doublespeak, but it's very, very bad for your psyche. I'm not saying the Democrat voters are nuts. I'm just saying holding two opposing views at the same time does just terrible things to your mind. Roughly equal numbers say they plan to participate in the Democratic 40% and GOP 41% primary or caucus. Now, here's an interesting thing. In March 2019, it was 41% Democrats, so it's down 1 point. But more importantly, it was 38 in 2019. Now it's 41. That's a big deal. That's a 4-point swing. That's a 4-point swing. That means more Republicans are going to be coming out in the primaries. Now, I live in New York State, upstate. We have a closed primary. Only registered people of that party can vote. Some states are open primaries. 51-year-old Haley suggested a cognitive test during the first week of her 2024 campaign. The test will apply to both Biden, age 80, and Trump, 76. More millennials, 83, Gen Xers, 84, want the test than baby boomers. Well, I'm on the ass end of the baby boomers. I was born in 1956. And more Republicans, 87, and independents, 74, favor them than Democrats, 67. Well, because they got Biden and he's lost. And they give you the details on how they conducted the poll. And they were randomly selected from a voter file and spoke with live interviewers on both landlines and cell phones. The poll's a margin of plus or minus 3 percentage points for all registered voters. Yeah, this is Trump's to lose. If by some strange miracle, somebody that's really high up in the Trump campaign, or somebody sees this video that's friends with someone in the Trump campaign, go back to the Donald Trump of 2016. Take a page out of Ronald Reagan's landslide victory. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? That was Ronald Reagan's mantra that he drove into the ground. I remember distinctly because I got married in 79 and things were really spiraling down the drain for the country. In a lot of ways, Ronald Reagan brought that back. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? If the answer is no, then take a good hard look at who you vote for. The Trump derangement syndrome people out there will never, ever, never, ever vote for Donald Trump, even at gunpoint. But a lot of the independents will. I know a lot of people don't like Trump and his personality quirks, and he's got some flaws, major flaws to begin with in his personality. I'm not even going to pretend like he doesn't. But he has the best chance to clean out Washington. If the Republicans can get the Senate back and the presidency, there'll be major, major changes in Washington. The swamp is scared to death. They're terrified. They see what's coming. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure, worse than before, that President Trump doesn't win. And we're going to see what happens. And as always, it's up to the American people to decide. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.